minutes ago that I've been with the business for over 30 years. So I've seen a lot of change. For those of you who don't know, and this isn't a sort of pitch to sell Finders Keepers, but we've got 8 offices. We've got 4 offices that are in Oxford, and we cover Oxfordshire and the counties that surround Oxfordshire. And we also have 3 divisions. We have a building division called Bricks and Mortar. We have a furnishing division, Decorum, and then we have an acquisition and sales team who provide advice for clients and people that are looking to buy property to rent. So that's a bit about us. We're a multi-award-winning company and pride ourselves in trying to do it properly. So our tagline is property properly. We've got 91% of our staff are now qualified in property letting and management. So hopefully we're able to give you the advice and with the experience that you want. It's just come up with a some sort of drop thing. So I haven't got a script or anything, but I can just see the next slide. So anyway, that's a bit about Finders Keepers. We have a strong link with our corporate social responsibility, and we have a green committee within the business. And we've done quite a lot over the years to try and be as green as possible, going as paperless as we possibly can, putting in LED lighting. We've ordered 5 new electric cars for our fleet of pool cars in Oxford. So hopefully they'll arrive at some stage. There is a bit of a delay with them. So we think, one of my colleagues is here, we think it's probably going to be sometime next year when they will actually make an appearance, but you know, that'll all be good. Right, so energy performance certificates. So we've all heard about them. We've all heard about MEES, and people talk about these acronyms. So the minimum energy efficiency standards, which came in 2016, so 6 years ago. It feels like it was a lot sooner than that. And what did it mean to us as a business and to the landlords? Well, it meant from 2018, properties needed to be band E or above, or have an exemption so that they could be rented out. And for properties with tenants that have been in long term, that was from April 2020, they all had to be compliant as well. And the properties needed to be band E or above for those. Question I get asked a lot is, how can properties be exempt? And people often say, look, I don't want to spend money. I don't want to do these properties up. I don't want to get to these higher bandings. And that's our job, is to try and get people to look to the future and to be proactive and get the properties upgraded. But there are certain circumstances where you can apply for exemptions. So I can't actually see that from this here, so I'll look at this. So you've done everything you possibly can, and the property still remains below a band E, so you can apply for an exemption. Where you carried out works to the property, but it still doesn't get to E, and you've spent up to £3,500, and again, you can apply for an exemption. Where it's not possible to carry out works for planning permission reasons, and I have this problem, I rent out a property that's a grade 2 listed property, and really it needs to have double glazing in order to get it up to standard, and it's just not possible with the planning permission. The property's listed, it's in a conservation area, so it's just not possible. You can also apply through a chartered surveyor's report. So if you're showing that it will actually carrying out measures to improve the performance of the property, it will actually devalue the property by more than 5%. So there are certain exemptions. Circumstances where an EPC may not actually be required. There aren't that many. I won't bore you by going through the list, but one we have. So we look after about 3,000 properties in Oxfordshire that we manage, and we have about 1,500 properties that are where we just find a tenant. And there's one property that I know of where it is actually less than 50 square meters, and it's a detached property in the grounds of the landlord's home that we rent out, and that is exempt from having an EPC on its size. So it's quite unusual. And we also have a couple of properties. So the Housing Act came in 1988, 15th of January 89, it was in force. So properties prior to that, a number of them were covered by the Rent Act 77. So this is protected tenancies. And if you've had a tenant that's been in situ since prior to that, and they're still in, then there may well be an exemption to have an energy performance. However, we would still recommend one is done so that you can see and so that improvements can be made on the property. So looking at energy performances, we'll go on to the sort of future in a minute. So we're looking at sort of current. So this is an example of an energy performance of one of our properties, and it's currently 49 points. So it's in band E. So that means we can lawfully rent the property out. Great. It's interesting that it says that the average rating across the across England and Wales is band D. So it's below the average. And it says that there is a potential that we could get it to 76 points on the energy efficiency rating, which will make it compliant for hopefully the future looking forward. So when you look at your EPC, and it will actually tell you what things you can carry out and roughly the indicative cost and the savings each year. So currently the property is in band E. However, were you to carry out loft insulation, cavity wall insulation, you're getting it up to band D, and then it's improving as you do more of the works, and then replacing the boiler with a new new condensing boiler, solar panels, and double glazing. You can actually get it up to band C, 76. So has everybody sort of seen, has people got EPCs and had a look at them carefully to see what you can do and the recommendations that are on the energy performance certificates? It's quite interesting. And I've done it for my own home, and it was very interesting to see. My house is band D, but were I to fit solar panels, then I could get the property up to a band C, which will hopefully mean my utility bills are less. My difficulty is getting somebody to actually come out and quote for solar panels. It's very difficult at the moment. So everybody wants them. So these are a couple of examples of properties that we let, and these are band A. So this is in the city centre here. It's a converted mill house. Thank you, flour mill. Thanks, Doug. And it's converted into 12 apartments. And this is band A+ on an EPC. So you've got to tell me, Doug knows. So this property and this property are both A+ on the energy performance. So how do you think those owners got those properties to that level? Any ideas?
Well, just the renovation has to be through a heat exchanger, doesn't it? The air in and the air out. That's really serious.
Well, these particular properties are both, yes, both of these properties are on a watercourse. And
you see this property, just show us on that photo which bit. No, the previous one.
This one.
Is it the whole of that back wall bit?
So it's the whole of this property here. So it's on the river, and it has an Archimedes screw that provides hydroelectric power. So it's actually using energy for the 12 flats, but it's also putting electricity back into the grid at the same time, making it the A+ rating it is. So that's kind of quite a cool way of getting the property up to that level. And there are hydroelectric companies that do this. I'm not saying it's for everyone, but it's for some.
And presumably it's incredibly well insulated, triple glazed.
Correct. Yeah, absolutely. there's a lot of new developments and building regulations and a lot of the new developments. So this is one in Bicester. So there's the Elmsbrook Eco Village, and they're building numerous houses, and these are band A as well. So again, triple glazing, they're very, very well insulated. You get a water butt, so I think they have a fruit trees, and they've tried to make it as energy efficient as possible. And I believe there's up to about 6,000 houses going in on this development over a period of time. So what I was asked to come here this morning, or this afternoon, and talk about was what's going to be happening for the future. So 2025 is a kind of a date that everyone is talking about. And the government is setting a bold goal to be net zero, carbon net zero on their emissions by 2050. So it's their bold goal to do this. How are they going to do it? Well, one of the ideas, now this is in draft form, so things may change, but at the moment, they are talking about 2025, from December 2025, properties that are rented need to be band C or above. Yeah, so it is a bold goal. Things may well change, but we are already starting to work towards it with our landlords, looking at how we can start to improve the properties to start getting them up to a better standard so that we will be able to rent them out from 2025 onwards. Now, the plan at the moment is 2025, this will be for properties that are newly rented out or renewals. And from 2028, it will be for all existing tenancies as well. So that's the plan. So it's quite a statement.
And all those exemptions you mentioned earlier still apply?
Well, we hope so. Yeah, I mean, one of the exemptions is at the moment is if you spend £3,500 and it still falls below band E currently, then you can apply for an exemption. Hopefully that will still apply at that stage. There's a lot of talk that the £3,500 will actually be increased to £10,000. So you'll have to spend a lot of money, get the properties improved. And if it still doesn't get to band C, if this comes in after 2025, then you can apply for the exemption. So things may change. We don't know. We don't know. There is this urban myth that if properties are listed, that they will automatically be exempt, and that isn't the case. I just wanted to kind of re-emphasize that as it stands currently. So they want us to get to band C. So this is a slide which just shows where we are at the moment. So it's slightly out of focus, either that or it's my eyesight. Oxford is currently averaging 45% of the properties in Oxford are band C or above. So that's where we are at the moment. So that means, well, my maths, 55% aren't compliant. So all the new builds that are coming online at the moment, hopefully will be because of the building regulations. But there's still a stock of property that really will need to be looked at. And this applies whether you're renting out property or it's your own home. I'm sure you'll want to try and improve the standards with the cost of your utilities. So what do you need to do? Well, we're saying, look, keep calm. Things may change. We don't know what's going to happen, but it's likely that standards will need to be improved, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing for all of us. So what do you need to do? Well, go back to your EPCs, look at your EPCs and say, look, where are you now? So that one that I used as an example earlier. So you're currently at band E, but you could get to band C, and this is how you do it. We've got 3 years to run before 2025. So if you need to do these things, then it could be that you start budgeting to do them, or you actually start doing the smaller things now and start working towards it with a program to get it up to the required level by the time any legislation is introduced. Government funding, will we get some government funding? Well, we don't know at this stage, but you know, they've set their bold goal for 2050. They've indicated that it's likely to be coming in from 2025, this band C. So I think it's kind of, let's wait and see. Let's wait and see what the government plans to do, and whether we get any financial support from the government in order to help with the energy efficiency, because it would be great if we did. So really, there are kind of two camps at the moment, as it were. So what do we do? Well, you could turn a blind eye and say, look, it's not yet legislation that we need to get it to band C. Things may change, you know, things may change. In the future, mortgage companies may be incentivized to give cheaper remortgages so that work can be carried out for energy performance certificates to be improved. That would be a great thing. But we don't know. So is it best to wait? We talked about future government funding. We want to wait and see what happens. Are we going to get funding? Are we going to get help from the government? Or it could be you've got an exemption in place, you know, already. So have you got 5 years grace? Well, we don't know. The government may change that as well and say 2025, it's got to be band C. Previous exemptions, you need to apply for new exemptions. Again, it's a bit of an unknown. Kind of more my camp of it, you know, is be ahead of the curve. So look, you know, things do need to improve. You do need to get your energy performances improved. So start working on the smaller stuff now. Is there other small things that you can do? Can you replace the lighting, LED lighting? Somebody was saying the town hall has replaced all of the lighting with LED. Brilliant. We've done it across our business as well. You know, so doing some of the smaller things, well, it adds up actually, especially when you have a larger office. But doing some of the smaller things like LED, like loft insulation, some of these things, if your boiler goes wrong, can you replace it with a really new, well, it has to be a condensing boiler. Could you replace the oil-fired boiler with something else, like an air source heat pump, which, you know, could improve your energy performance and it could reduce your utility bills? So that would be great. If you do stuff to your property to improve the energy performance, is it going to help the capital value? Well, I think it probably will. You know, that's my personal view, but it's likely to. We've noticed that a lot of tenants now, when it was introduced, the energy performance, none of the tenants were interested in the energy performance of the property at the time. Yeah, I'm generalizing. Now they really are. They're really interested, and they want to rent property that is really good quality and that it is better rated. So these properties, like the ones down by the mill, rent very easily. They're A+ rated. So the landlords are getting better yields and the tenants are wanting to rent them because they're cheaper for them to run. I've noticed that more and more already. So when you're doing a remortgage of properties, the remortgage companies are now asking for the energy performance. And I think that's quite a key thing that's coming in. And, you know, if you're trying to remortgage a buy-to-let and it's a lower banding, is that going to make your remortgage more expensive than if it's higher banded? I don't know, but, you know, these are all things to be aware of. Running costs, yeah, there's the obvious running costs. I mean, if it's your own home and you're improving the energy performance, you're helping the capital value, hopefully, of your property, but you're also helping your current running costs. And just going back to capital value, so I kind of say that because if you own the home and you make your improvements and you improve the performance of your property, you may find that it's easier to sell it. You know, somebody is more likely to want to buy it because it's a better energy efficiency. We talked about investing in your EPC. So you may have savings currently, and they may be in, I don't know, interest-bearing accounts, but could you make better use of that money by spending it on improving your property and putting in solar panels and putting in your Tesla Powerwall batteries to improve the property and actually make it cheaper for you to run? And it might be better off in the long run to do that than actually not to, and just to have the money in savings. You know, again, this is something that you need to really weigh up and think about carefully. And I mentioned about remortgaging. and the impact of the EPC banding. So, and I think that will become more and more a key point when you're remortgaging properties. And then doing your bit for the environment. You know, I think it's important that we all do our bit for the environment. So if we can make improvements, it'll help us financially, but it's also us doing our bit to help. And I kind of end it with self-reliance. So where I live out in the country, and I get power cuts regularly. So my dream is to have solar panels on the roof and some batteries, and then I'll be basically, hopefully, pretty much off the grid. So, you know, I get a power cut, and at least I can carry on, you know, life as normal. So I think that was it from me. It was very brief. Any of you wanted to ask me any questions at all? Yes.
What's been the impact on rents?
With the energy performance.
If the landlord's invested, what happens to the rent?
It's an interesting one. So it's difficult to quantify, but I would suggest that tenants are more likely to want to rent the property, so it'll be more desirable to rent because it's more energy efficient. So from the landlord's perspective, hopefully the void periods, time the properties are empty and not getting any income, will be reduced because the property is more desirable. We found that the A-rated properties that we rent out rent very quickly. And as I said, more and more tenants are now looking at energy performance because of the running costs.
But are landlords insisting on putting up the rents, or are they just accepting there are less voids, so it's an equal equation?
The rents are driven by market forces. So a landlord could say, Paul, I want you to rent my property. I've spent a lot of money on the energy performance, so I therefore want a much higher rent. Now, they are governed by market forces. So although it will be more desirable for a tenant to rent it, it may take longer if the landlord is saying, I'm insistent on the rent being higher to cover all of my costs. So it's supply and demand. Did that really answer your question or not? Didn't it? I tried.
You tried.
I tried. So
I mean, I'm really interested in the extent to which, if you like, the increase in rents that landlords are wanting is fair in relation to the amount they've had to spend, considering its legislation.
Yeah, then absolutely they can put the property on, and we can put the property on and seek prospective tenants, and it will absolutely make it more desirable to rent, and they may well get a higher rent, but you can't guarantee it because it's driven by market forces.
You're only going to have property empty for a little while, and you have to pay the council tax, and you lose the rent for that long.
Correct. That's exactly that was kind of my point. And you know, we do a lot of rental valuations, and we'll always give fair rental assessments based on comparables, other properties that are rented in the market, and say, okay,